Mr. Money Mustache, maybe you know who he is, maybe you don't. Basically, he's a blogger who preaches financial independence through frugality, and essentially his whole motto is don't buy dumb stuff you don't need and you'll have more money.
For 7 years, Pete, aka Mr. Money Mustache, has been preaching parsimony on his popular blog. Aidney and his followers, known as Mustachians, are key players in the FIRE, or FIRE movement. Financial independence, retire early.
So basically the whole thing boils down to being really a lot more conscious with where you spend your money so that you have more money to either retire or just have more money. Generally, I really like Mr. Money Mustache. He seems like a pretty cool guy, maybe a little bit arrogant and maybe a little bit hardline about his principles, but they seem to work and he seems like pretty chill. If you're watching this, you're cool, man. You wanna come to my party, my birthday party? However, there's one article, I read it a long time ago, but I recently came across it again, and there's one part that just grinds me the wrong way. Now, in the article, he cites something that he saw in the news, which says the average American wouldn't have $1,000 to spend on an emergency. Now, as you can probably predict, someone who makes a living talking about how to save up money, Mr. Money Mustache freaked out about this fact. He thinks it's ridiculous that most average Americans don't have that. They should be able to have it, and he says if you don't have $1,000 in savings, it is an emergency. He goes on to say that if you don't have $1,000 in savings, you should be drinking nothing but tap water and eating bread and peanut butter and bananas until you do. I don't know if he actually means that, but to be honest, he probably does. He's pretty straight edge about his rules. I don't know if I really agree with that. Now, he says in the quote, don't buy dumb stuff if you don't have $1,000. That I agree with. But what does dumb stuff really mean? This particular article doesn't really touch on happiness of the human individual behind the saving. Here's a little secret about me. Once a week or so, I like to buy a little bottle of soda pop for myself. Usually on a Friday night after work, I'll go buy like a 1 litre bottle of the name brand cheap knockoff Coke from my local supermarket. The bottle costs me 75 cents, and I usually recycle all my bottles at the local recycling centre and I get 10 cents back. So 65 cents. Now, when I drink it, I'm not just like going off with happiness, but it is a little bit of a treat. Really showing my age where a little drink of soda pop is giving me a treat. That's beyond the point though. I'm saying it's a little bit of a treat, gives me a little bit of happiness to say, oh, I just get to sit down and relax after a working week. Have a little bit of a Coke, off-brand Coke. I think it's just called cola. Point is, under Mr. Money Mustache's rules, I should be drinking tap water, which is free. I shouldn't be spending 60 cents a week on soda pop. 60 cents a week really adds up, you might think. Does it really? What is it, like, adds up to what, $30 a year? Sit down and do a little bit of a bar graph. $30 a year going towards my $1,000 in savings that I should have. Is that $30 not being there because I spent it on soda pop really gonna affect my happiness levels as much as not drinking it? I'm not saying everyone likes 60-cent bottles of soda pop. Everyone's got their little thing that makes them happy. I think it would be much easier for the average person to go about that savings routine if they knew there were little treats and little bits of happiness that they could still enjoy. It's kind of why diets don't work, because a lot of them are too strict. People do it for a couple of weeks and then they're just not enjoying themselves. If you were under a savings schedule where you could only drink tap water for an indefinite amount of time, eventually you're gonna snap and just start screwing it up. Mr. Money Mustache does say in the quote, you can't even buy a $2 children's toy. Some of the facts kind of start slapping different when you're talking about how your money choices affect someone else, like a child. But still, don't buy dumb stuff. But what does dumb stuff mean? It's different for every person. What's dumb for me might be smart for someone else. Generally, I appreciate what Mr. Money Mustache is talking about and agree with basically all of what he says. But I don't know, if you don't have $1,000 in savings, I don't think you just have to lie down flat in a blank room for a year and only work until you have it. You still gotta be a human.
Aidney also saves so much because he's a do-it-yourselfer. Take his house.
The one that we live in now, I built almost entirely from scratch.
So you put in your own plumbing?
Yeah.
You did your own flooring?
Yep, that's part of a house.
You did your own electricity?
I would do my own heart surgery if it was safe.